morning and welcome from the Eureka Solutions team, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar Multi-Channel Sales Order Management in Sage 200. Today our session is hosted by Sage Channel Manager Allan James. Just to give you a bit of an introduction to Allan. Allan is the Sage Channel Manager here at Eureka Solutions, so he has decades of experience in working with Sage partners and their customers, helping them to really maximise the benefit received from the system through add-ons and integrations. So although Allan's been at Eureka Solutions for many years, he's recently started working on the Sage 200 team, as well as continuing to work on add-ons and integration. So he's bringing a wealth of experience to that team. So if you are using Sage 200 at the moment or considering moving to this software to help manage orders from different channels, you're in good hands today. We will be starting the webinar just shortly. So we'll wait another minute or so just to allow for any last minute joiners to come on. Okay, so again, thank you for joining us today for our multi-channel sales order management in Sage 200 webinar. Today we'll be showing you some ways to streamline order management across your business using Sage 200 and some other pieces of software that you can add on in order to do that. Before we begin today's webinar, I'd just like to make everyone aware that the session is being recorded and that recording has already begun. So if you do miss anything or have to pop off early for any reason at all, please don't worry. I'd also like to let you know that at the end of the webinar today, there will be a Q&A session and Allan will be answering your questions directly then. So if you do have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box and Allan will get to these at the end of the session. So without further ado, I'd like to hand you over to Allan, who will get us started this morning.
Thank you, Louise. Good morning, everyone. Okay, we have an agenda to go through, so we'll give you an initial introduction to Eureka Solutions. Then we'll focus on the challenges of managing multi-channel orders, getting orders from your e-commerce system, keying them into Sage by email, telephone, and getting that data into Sage quickly. We're going to look at the Sage 200 order management features in Bisyncly, which is our secure cloud-based integration platform, and Sales Order Plus. Not everyone places orders on our e-commerce platforms. Often the customer may phone in. Often the customer may send an email or a text. And we want to get that data into our system very quickly. We're going to also obviously look at Bisyncly, our Sage 200 integration platform, and then we'll run through Sales Order Plus within the Sage 200 system. Then we'll look at some success stories. Then we'll have a full presentation of both products and we'll have a Q&A. Okay, Eureka are an accredited Sage 200 partner, developer, and ISV founded on two core principles back in 2004. To focus on our technical expertise and our tremendous customer care and service. As a business, we have a range of Sage 200 add-ons accredited for sale in the UK, Ireland, and for Bisyncly in the US. The Bisyncly integration platform for Sage 200 is accredited in the UK and in the US for Sage Intacct. We're also accredited for Sage 50, maybe Sage as we call it, and Sage Intacct, and we've grown from 3 staff back in 2004 to more than 75 today, and the majority of that 75 are in technical roles. We have offices in Scotland, and we now have an office in England. Challenges of a multi-channel sales order management. Managing order data in different formats, or coming off the phone, or coming off the website, emails coming in, sometimes even letters coming in. And we want to get this information into Sage efficiently, correctly, and so that the system has the information within it to provide our customers efficient delivery of the goods they have ordered. And the whole idea of this morning is to show you through the products I'm about to show you, how we save time and offer exceptional customer service. Processing orders, I guess it depends on the frequency and the amount of the orders, can be an intensive process. Our aim is to make that process slick, quick, and pain-free. So often challenges will happen where qualified staff are spending too much time on admin, checking this, checking that, and so on, where they might be better allocated to higher value projects. And often in times like Black Friday or festive periods or a busy period for the business, overwhelmed by the high demand in orders. So the two products that we're going to review today, sales order processing, or Sales Order Plus, which is a Eureka add-on, which allows us to create quotes, which we can convert into sales orders. It allows us to check the availability of our stock, allows us to allocate all or deallocate on the order, real-time order tracking, and it allows us, through various additional buttons at the bottom of the screen, to save and dispatch, save, allocate, dispatch, save, allocate, dispatch, invoice, and post to the ledger. So we've got all the functionality for a telesales team or trade counter. Sales Order Plus also, from the order screen, allows us to create a stock item, view real-time stock levels. Within Sales Order Plus, we have retail stock management, which allows us to move stock from one warehouse to another. We can view the stock history within the order, and we have multi-warehouse stock management in many ways, moving stock from one warehouse to another with paperwork. So when we're traveling with the goods, it can be in transit, and the receiving warehouse can then receipt it, check it, and then accept the delivery of that delivery. We've got all the standard Sage 200 reports. However, within Sales Order Plus, we can see outstanding sales and purchase orders, and I'll show you that functionality. Within Sage 200, we've got order dashboards, and with Sales Order Plus and the use of some of the features within the Plus pack, we have true customization to help a business. Now focusing on Besinkly. Besinkly was a product developed by our development team and launched in 2017. It automates the transfers of orders from any platform. However, out the box, we can process orders from Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, eBay, Amazon, HubSpot, Salesforce, and others. It reduces or cuts out the need for manual data entry. Bisyncly has a scheduler that will go and get the orders from all those platforms. And if you have a system that isn't listed in Bisyncly, we can actually build a connector for that system if it has an API. If it hasn't got an API and it can export the data, we can pick that data up via an FTP and bring those orders in as a CSV into Sage. Speeds up order processing is really quite a short key. We have customers processing more than 10,000 orders a day. It would take 100 to process those kind of orders that we're talking about, where easily Bisyncly can process them very quickly. One point to note, it does enhance the data accuracy across the systems. No one getting fatigued and hitting the wrong key, picking the wrong warehouse, picking the wrong price. It's all managed within Bisyncly. And we now have 40 plus platforms that we integrate with. Heading back into order management, so the add-ons, as mentioned before, Sales Order Plus, that was developed by Eureka Solutions. It was designed to improve efficiency and functionality, and it's installed onto the same PC as your Sage 200. And it has more than 100 individual features and functions within the Sales Order Plus pack. Whilst we're here, we thought we would update you on all of our products that fully integrate with Sage 200. Just for your benefit, we have a fixed assets module, much more functional than the Sage out-the-box fixed assets module. You can raise purchase orders and bring an asset in. You can sell assets either through an order, via a cash sale or an invoice sale. We hold for vehicles or items that require servicing. We can have service dates, insurances, MOT dates, all this sort of stuff held against the fixed asset. Sales Order Plus, I'll keep Stum on, as we're going to go through that specifically. Purchase Order Plus, very similar to Sales Order Plus, the ability to create purchase orders in a rapid grid and again run round the system with a menu on the left-hand side of the screen to allow you access to other parts of the Sage system, whilst perhaps you may be talking to your supplier. Stock Plus was created for the retail sector, for clothing specifically, although we do have it in many different types of businesses today. It gives the user the ability to create hundreds of stock items based on a dimension. If we focus on size, color, style, that could be a shirt, a jumper, a dress, wedding dress. Once we've created those dimensions, then we can build a style, i.e. Eureka jeans, and we can have Eureka jeans size 28 in blue, Mexican style, Scottish style, in red, size 30. So we can build all these stock items up based on that dimension. And again, with sales and purchase order processing, this will give us the ability to add multiple lines very quickly to the order. Give me a second. We also have Courier Link. Courier Links integrates with around 10 couriers. I'll try and reel them off. We've got Royal Mail API, we've got Royal Mail Click and Drop, we've got Parcel Force, we've got DPD, we've got APC, we've got Tufnells, we've got DPD Ireland, and we've got a couple more that I just can't quite remember. And those fire up after the dispatch. When you dispatch your goods in Sage 200, the relevant courier will get your manifest for that order and send back the label and send back the tracking number. The label will print off on your label printer and the tracking number will go into Sage 200. Warranty, service and repair. This products are for anyone who sell stock items that require maintenance and a repair contract. So when the goods are sold through Sage 200, it will automatically create a contract for the asset, which it has now become, which is linked to the customer that purchased it, and allows the customer to phone in, say, my coffee machine needs a repair. Can you send an engineer? You can issue the job to an engineer, be that one of your own staff or a supplier or a subcontractor who goes out, fixes the machine. We can actually add stock items, service, free text lines to that repair. So we can add stock to that repair from our van. So that van may be a warehouse, so we can issue stock from that warehouse. And then we can bill the customer accordingly if it is part of the contract or not. Whatever the case may be, it will produce renewal documentation and automatically thereafter generate the sales order for the following year's maintenance contract. We've got it in white goods, heating engineers, valve manufacturers, electrical heating systems. Lots of medical companies use it for the medical devices. One in memory is orthopedic beds and those kind of businesses. Plus Pack that you get free of charge when you purchase Sales Order Plus, Purchase Order Plus, Stock Plus, and Warranty, Service and Repair. It is 90, it's a pack of 90 additional features that help the day-to-day functionality of Sage 200. Originally built for Sage 50 users going to Sage 200 who were missing some of the functionality that they had in Sage 50. I will show you some of those features when we get to Sales Order Plus. AFD lookup and validate. We can also look at that, which gives the user the ability to type in a postcode. I'm in a delivery of an order, type in a postcode, and it will bring up a list of house numbers or company names or whatever that postcode and allow you to select. Or you can select a company name and it will list the company names that look similar to that or exactly like that and allow you to enter the address. So you buy the AFD lookup from us, but you will pay a monthly subscription to AFD directly for the use and access to that database of addresses, which is continually being updated. Data exchange. Data exchange is our legacy integration solution. It was first launched in 2005. We still have many hundreds of sites. Uh, it's a scheduled flat file integration program. So it pulls in CSV files or XML files. So it was the old style of integration, bringing data into Sage 200 and out of Sage 200. Proficient users would use it to update pricing on stock items, change customer details, add additional fields to suppliers and so on, or bring in orders off a CSV file. And maybe that CSV file came off a website, so the web developer would create the export from the website, and Data Exchange would check that file and bring it into Sage. Basically, I call the grandson of Data Exchange, the latest technology, the latest security, all API driven. However, if a user does want CSV integration because the system they're using hasn't got an API, Bsyncly can do what Data Exchange does and bring the file in from an FTP, an SFTP, or an FTPSE platform out there in the cloud. All API driven, very secure. Bob's your uncle. So Sales Order Plus fully integrates with Sage 200 and offers rapid order processing, one-click processing for dispatching and invoicing, ensures all customers and product information is available on the one screen. It also enables cross-selling. So if you're selling, I guess, torches, it will offer batteries and bulbs, perhaps. And we've got adding system shortcuts or adding lines to an order very quickly. I think that's where I'd like to go first. So let's go to Sales Order Plus first. Okay. On screen, we have Sage 200. Now, when the Eureka add-ons are installed into Sage 200, they create their own menu. I've obviously got all our add-ons here, and our add-ons are switched on and licensed within here, and the add-ons are all listed. I've got most of them switched on. We'll be focusing on Sales Order Plus, which includes the Plus pack. So all these features are added to Sage 200. So let's go in and create a new order on the full. So one of the pluses here is I'm going to put a customer in. And the first thing that we see is a memo pop up. This memo is a function within Sales Order Plus, which allows you to see a memo that someone else has added and add your own. This is the Sage 200 customer alert, which doesn't allow us to add additional, but it allows us to set an alert. I put it on just to show you can have either. You can't edit this one. Okay, the feature that has just popped up is a Sales Order Plus feature, which allows you to either put the customer on hold or warn you and ask you if you want to put the customer on hold. I haven't given myself the right to, so this will allow me to create the order, but it's going to automatically. put it on hold. Sales order credit warning. I think it's MMS 110. All our features have an MMS code. So you'll see here, we've got a rapid grid that will take us along the top, or we can add the order exactly like Sage 200. Point to note at this point, we do not remove any functionality from Sage 200. We only enhance existing functionality. There's an extra button I mentioned earlier. We can create a new stock item from this screen, or we can create a new stock item from this menu, but I may have switched it off. We can also create a new customer from the order screen, so the user is always in the order screen. I'm going to go back to Rapid Grid. We've also got the ability to stop the system saving the order unless we have an order number. I've got that feature off. And if I've used the order number before, or the customer has in your case, then it will go yellow. You could then say to the customer, have you placed this order before, just in case it's already in the system. Okay, whilst I'm here, I'm going to take you to where I mentioned before about the AFD check. So this is checking a customer's delivery or creating a new customer. Anywhere where there's an address field, the AFD search is available, even for warehouses. So if I go here, click here, I can search for a company name, and you can see here all the Eurekas. If I go Eureka Solutions, there you go, that's our address there. And as we increase the name, it shortens the search. So there's Eureka Solutions, select address, there's the address, and I say OK. And that would automatically be added. Okay, so we are in our order. I'm going to add an item on the rapid grid. So you'll see here my warehouse, which is the default supply from. I could change that if I wanted. I can change my fulfillment method. As we know, there are 3 in Sage. I can see my free stock quantity and the quantity that I want to add the order. Now, this is my cross sale. If I have a customer in my headphones and I'm saying, okay, Mr. Customer, you've ordered a couple of blenders. Would you like a couple of express machines and mixers? Oh, yes, that would be very good. Also, we can make items mandatory. So every time they buy something, we may want to add a pallet or a box or a crate, or we may want to add something, whether it's, I don't know, instructions or a manual or whatever that we want to add to the system. They would automatically be added as they are there. And I could change the quantity if I wanted to. Okay, if you look at the left-hand side of the screen, if the customer has multiple delivery addresses against their account, then we can select an address to send it to. So if it's the co-op shop and we're sending to all the shops, we can create an order for each shop. Create a new customer on the fly if we want to. We can do an account inquiry. So this allows us to hold a meaningful conversation with the customer and perhaps check their balance, their turnover. We can specifically discuss a transaction. We can view existing orders, and I can hold an informative conversation about a specific order, why it's on hold, all this sort of stuff. So there's the order that we're discussing. We can see where that order is in the process. Added advantage, we're not leaving Sage on the sales order process. We can amend the customer account. We can view order templates. So if you created templates in 200, you can add these templates to the order. Ah, there it is. Create a new stock item. So it's also on the menu or from the stock item. View the item details. So if I highlight the blender, I'm going to view the item details. This gives me all the information on the blender. We'll be able to see what's in stock, where the locations are. So there's information on my blender. There's my cross-selling items. It's the Sage cross-selling item. Here's mine that we had well in advance of the Sage cross-sell. Here we have locations, so I can see my quantities in stock and where they are. Also, I'm highlighting them here. Sage have got a new feature, which is stock alerts. So Sage have a stock alert. I've actually got the feature switched off, I think, which will pop up when you add the stock item to sales order, quote, pro forma, purchase order, invoice, anything like that within the system. It's a new feature in Sage 2025 R1. Okay, we can view item balances. We're still on the blender. So how many do you have in stock, Alan? Said the customer. I said, well, we've got 333 on order, and there's my free stock quantity, and they're all sat in my main warehouse in Newcastle. I can view the item history. So this shows me the item history across the board, not just with Abby. And I can right click and export it. I can list it by date, my movement type by quantity, by code alphabetically, first reference, second reference, and so on. It's filtered it from the 1st of July to the 15th of July today, and I can obviously reduce or increase that. I can see purchase orders for the stock item. So if I've got none in stock, I can see when they're due, and I can view that order to see when they're next in. We can view the item history. So this is the item history with Abby. So ABB01 has purchased all these blenders. That's what they've paid. That's when they purchased them. And that's what they paid. And there's the relevant order numbers. Okay, so let's go here, adding items to an order. Within Sales Order Plus, we have the ability to add preferred items to a customer. So I sell 3 different styles of frozen chips, and Abby only like the crinkly cut ones. I can put the crinkly cut chips against Abby. Or I can filter my list by product group, select the relevant item, use the shift or the control key, send the item across, change my quantities, and add the items very quickly to the order, as you can see here. We can add previous orders. So here's a previous order. The top gives us the order number. The bottom frame gives us what was on that order, and I can select individual items, use the pricing and discounts in this order, and add selected lines very quickly to the order. We've also got special price items. So if you've got special price items for Abby or for your customers, you can add those to the order by clicking on the lines. We can look historically. So this tells me what Abby has purchased from that to this date, which is a year. That's a default setting. You might want 30 days, 60 days, or whatever. And this is what they bought, but we can go back to the year dot if you want to, and we select, or we break it down by product group, and I use the control key or the shift key. I can change my quantities if I want, and then use the last selling price or the current. Let's use the current. Those items have been added. We also have a notepad within here, which allows us to build up a price rather than adding it straight to the order. It's a way of, I guess it's a way of, if we've got the client on the phone, it may be a way of building up a price for the client before we add the lines to the order, because we can add or delete. We can add by search categories or add by product group. So if I just want to list my accessories, here are the relevant items, and here I can add my quantities if I want, very quickly add those items to the order. Okay, we can add by quantity and description as well. So we forget the stock code, but I know it begins with a P. And if I use the Sage Wild Search, or I could use the multiple search, so it's going to find me everything with Pro in it. Oh, there we go. There's my 5-speed blender. I want to add one of those. We can also add a free text line to the order. Test 1, 2, 3. And we'll put a price against it. And add the line you'll see there. There it's there. We can add a charge line, a comment line. And if I go to comment line, and that'll add a comment onto the order and a charge line. And here I have my different charge lines. Just say carriage, and we'll charge them a tenner. And you'll see that carriage line there. So my order can very quickly be created. Now you can see on the button below, or the buttons below, we have additional buttons added by Sales Order Plus. Save an invoice. Save and create a PO. That's not the Sage save and generate a PO. Save and create PO. Actually, I'll show you that. We can save and dispatch. We can save allocate and dispatch. We can complete order, which is a button that does everything. So it allows me to produce the documents for a trade counter, more or less. So let's do a back to back. Save and create a purchase order. The save and generate order, the Sage button, actually allows it's very rigid, doesn't allow you any flexibility the way the saving create PO does. And I'll show that when I get there. So Sage is now generating my order and creating the possible purchase orders. So these are the possible purchase orders. So you'll see there's a free text line there. So we can add a supplier, put a buy price, add a carriage, which will allow me to create a back-to-back order for a free text item. Not possible with Save and Generate in Sage. I can remove items from my possible POs. Not possible in Sage. I can change my quantities. I can change my supplier. Not possible in Sage, let me add. Neither of all of this isn't. And I could, if I wanted to, select one supplier and get everything from the one supplier. Could change my pricing if I have the rights to. Change the receiving warehouse. I don't want it to go to the warehouse. I want it to be sent to Middlesbrough. And here I have a delivery charge. I've got an order that's set at 0. And this. So Sage will now go off and create my multiple purchase orders, and here they are. If I just highlight the BGT one, we're going to view. So there's my delivery, my tenor that I've added here. It tells me that it's linked to sales order 5193. So when the goods are received, the goods will automatically be allocated to that sales order. I can view the original sales order. Bob's your uncle. Well, that was a very rapid tour around Sales Order Plus. Let's now pop into Simply for the last 10-15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give you a high-level review of Besincly. Besincly is a secure integration platform. Besincly resides in the Google platform. So all the Google analytics, all the Google security is then obviously picked up by Besincly. When the data is moving from, let's say, Shopify to Sage, be it Sage 50, Sage 200, Sage 200 Standard, or Sage Intact, the data is encrypted. Any movement of data between one API and the other, the data is encrypted. It's a subscription solution. So you pay for it on a monthly subscription. Here, this little monthly transaction pie shows us what we've used, what we've still got remaining, and when we're next going to reset. Today, end of play today, we'll reset. Okay, so let's go to the connectors. Best place to show you them is in the field guide. So all the platforms you see in here, we already have connectors for. Amazon for orders, BigCommerce for multiple functions, Breathe, which is an HR system, Celoxys, eBay, EPOS Now, HubSpot, iconography, Sage Intact, iPlicit, Just Giving. It's endless. There are connectors we have that aren't on the main site, but they will be added in due course. So anything within here can integrate with anything within here. Sage 200 Professional to WooCommerce, or WooCommerce to Salesforce, or Salesforce to Sage, or Snipcart to Sage, or Sage 200 to Sage 200. Sage 200 to Sage Intact. Just Giving to HubSpot. We're all independent connectors. Now, the brains behind it all, you don't see, but the mapping you do. So if I just take you to a simple, what do you find? So here's Sage 200 from Shopify. So this is a one-off integration. These are all separate integrations. So as a company, you can have orders coming in. You might want stock levels come back to your e-commerce site. You might want goods dispatched back to the website. And if you're using our courier module, then you can send a tracking number back to the website. Or even if you're using Sycon's courier, tracking number back to the website. Or you might want stock pricing, you might want loads of stuff. But let's see how it all works. So this is a sales order integration. An integration is the coming together of two connectors to automate a process. In this case, sales orders. So here we have the fields from the Shopify API, order number, going to the Sage API, or the Eureka web service in the case of Sage 200 Professional. So the data in that field will go to that field. So the order's been placed on Shopify and basically says, I want your orders, which can be scheduled, and it goes and gets the data. Things to note here, the SKU on the website, it's advisable for it to match in Sage. If it doesn't match in Sage, then we have functionality within the Plus Pack and Sales Order Plus Pack to automate the process. It's called stock code alias, so we can map it to an alias field within 200. But there's a little cost there for development, and it's best to kick off on the right foot and have the same SKUs in both systems. And okay, so we're just mapping field to field to field in here, but there's more to an integration than just mapping fields. We want to tell Sage to do things. So Sage, all the orders coming from that website, I want you to pick them from the home warehouse. We're using standard items as well. So the line type is standard. Hit an order. It's a payment with order. The bonus to a payment with order is if the order comes in from Shopify with a receipt and it's all been managed by the website with WorldPay or PayPal or Global Pay or whatever, then the receipt value will come in with the order. As you process the order, whether you do automatically, allocate, dispatch, invoice, and post the invoice, once you post the invoice, the receipt will automatically be allocated to the invoice. No manual allocations needed. What else are we saying here? We're going to invoice, we're going to post the invoice. The promise date has come from the website, and that's the promise date we're going to put on the order. charge code or the delivery charge code is going to be carriage, and the payment method is Shopify payments, and that's the payment method we have in Sage. We can set notifications, so if there is a failure, then the email group or the single email within here will get an email to say the integration has failed. And we then give you the opportunity to edit the integration, and we'll teach you to do that, and then allow the integration to go again. Or you cancel it, edit the stock code or whatever field needs editing within the website, and go again. This config tab here is for our techies to help with workflow, add any possible bespoke within here, but generally to create a workflow for more complex integrations. We can save this. Once we've created this integration, we can save it a template and perhaps use this as a base to edit rather than create from scratch. We're allowing duplicates. You wouldn't normally do that for an order, but it is a testing system. And we're saving sent data and we're saving failed data, which allows us to edit it and resend it. We do a lot of testing when we're implementing a new system. And the added advantage to the testing integrations is that it only does one line or one order or one item at a time, just to make sure the right fields in whatever, WooCommerce, Shopify, Amazon, whatever, are going to the right fields that you want them to go to in Sage. And the scheduler, as I mentioned earlier, we could make it incremental. We can go from every 5 minutes, depending on what platform you take on. We have standard and premium, or we can go scheduled days of the week or days of the month. You say on a Monday, let's do it at this time and this time, and on a Tuesday, this time, and Wednesday, that time. So you just build up the integration. Most people say hourly. We could confirm that. We could switch the integration on, save the integration. But to note, at the bottom of the screen, you will see an audit log. So any changes made to the integration are logged. So if there is an issue after an amendment to an integration, our support team and yourselves can see what's changed, and then perhaps you've changed something that didn't quite work, so you can revert or undo what you've done. I'm going to close. The integration would, if I saved it, it would have been updated and everything would be tickety-boo. So really, that end presentation, it shows sort of two main ways when you're using Sage 200 to get data in very quickly, to process orders very efficiently, very customer caring like. A point to note again, if you have a customer portal, we can create an integration into your portal. So whether it's an existing site, a new site, we have numerous integrations. If you want to integrate with a 3PL, we can integrate with those. Most 3PLs accept orders from e-commerce platforms, but they don't know the stock levels in Sage. We can send the stock levels to 3PL. Once the goods have been dispatched, we can bring the orders into Sage as dispatched. So there's no manual keying anywhere. You go on and on and on. I won't, and I'll thank you for your time. And I'll just go back to the PowerPoint, which is here. Moving on. So there's many options within Sage 200 functionality to assist within your organization with efficiency and processing. Automatic creation of orders for Sinclair, powerful add-ons like the rapid order grid. Customization is always available in standard Sage, not Sage 200 standard, in normal Sage, or in our add-ons. So if you want one of our add-ons amended or changed for your functions, all that is possible. So there's some notes on the right-hand side from three of our customers. So the 100% elimination of manual and duplicate data entry. Improved stock accuracy and customer experience. Yeah, Farmed. Farmed are a pharmaceutical business, wholesale pharmaceutical business, and they also have their customers using the Farmed stock levels to sell on their own website. So Farmed have got lots of customers who resell the products, but use the Farmed stock level and order process as a sort of back-to-back. So the client's customer will place an order on the website thinking it's that supplier's website, but it's actually Farmed's website. And all the goods will be shipped from Farmed's warehouse and go directly to the client. So increased productivity, clear streamlined processes, easy to keep on top of. Hopefully you're increasing incoming orders, faster order processing, better accuracy, less manual mistakes, and the ability to grow business without hiring new staff. I always go back to the old adage, and it was a data exchange customer who at the time had 55 order processors. They had many e-commerce sites for ladies' apparel, really well known. They had an 8 million turnover. They implemented data exchange to process the orders from these sites. I can't remember the number of sites. I think it was about 12. Could have been more. And all those orders were flowing into Sage 200 without any manual input. Their order processors dropped to 5 from 55. And they grew from 8 million turnover to 4 years later being 280 million turnover. Now, I'm not saying data exchange was the reason for all this, but it certainly was the reason they didn't need 55 staff keying in orders. Okay, that is it from me, and I'd like to thank you all for your time. And I think there'll be one or two questions. Well, hopefully there'll be one or two questions. And I'll ask Louise, is there any questions in the comments?
Yes, thank you so much for that detailed demo, Alan. I can see that we've got two questions here for you just now. So the first one we've got is, how many licenses do I get with Sales Order Plus?
Good question. Okay, if you operate a 10-user Sage 200 system, you buy Sales Order Plus, you get a 10-user Sales Order Plus system. If you upgrade that Sage system to a 20-user, you will automatically get a 20-user. Whatever license you have in Sage 200, you get the equivalent in Sales Order Plus for the same price. So if you buy a 1-user, it's the same price as if you buy 20 user, but you need the Sage license to operate Sales Order Plus.
Okay, and then second question and final one I can see for now. I have multiple websites. I have a Shopify site, a WooCommerce site, and an eBay store. Can I connect all of these to a single instance of Sage using integration software?
Yeah, very good question as well. I should have maybe highlighted it. So yeah, it's not about the connectors and how many sites you're connecting to, because you can connect to a WooCommerce site, bringing orders into one Sage company, a Shopify site coming in orders into the same Sage company, and they'll all be referenced slightly different. You might want a different analysis code, or you might want a different order reference like Shopify, Woo, eBay, Amazon, whatever. So yes, you can, but you can also have them coming into multiple companies. And it isn't about the number of connectors. It's all about the cumulative transactions. Um, so it really doesn't matter where the orders are coming from. Obviously, if we're adding more integrations, it takes more time to set these integrations up. But if you want them mapping to a company, multiple companies, then yeah, all out the box stuff.
Brilliant. I don't see any more questions just now, Alan, but obviously, if anyone does have any, please get in touch and we can get those answered for you. So, yeah, all that's left to say is a massive thank you to everyone who joined today and, of course, to Alan for that really informative session. As mentioned, today's webinar has been recorded, so if anyone needs to see that or pass that on to anyone within your business, that will be reaching your inboxes soon. So just to end, would just like to say a huge thank you and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.